Today we're going to talk about The Boys finale, the final episode. Let's do it. Let's do all the scenes one by one. The first scene we get is Frenchie's funeral, and everybody's just surrounding the grave and they're mourning him, right? And then Huey reads Frenchie's will, the final letter that he had written. And in that letter, he talks about assholes. At first, it doesn't make sense, right? Like he's just saying that he's seen everybody's assholes. But in the end, it makes sense because he explains that by seeing all this, that means he's intimate with them. He's seen them in and out, basically. And he knows them better than he knows his own family. And he considers them his family. And that makes a lot of sense because in the next scene, we see Homelander going to Ryan, going to talk to him, going to try to get him towards his side, basically. Even though they're family, they don't have a bond that is as good as Frenchie and the boys. And in the next scene, we see Starlight telling Marie Monroe that she has to take people to Canada. Like, bro, she's powerful. Marie Monroe is one of the most powerful soup. Like she had powers to bring people back to life. She can literally remove V1 from bloodstreams. She was built in such a way that she would be stronger than Homelander. She was built for that. And they're just sending her off in a van. Like, what what are they doing? I understand they don't want to risk her life, but come on, it's life or death here. They could have easily done that. They could have taken her help at least. Like stand a little far away and help them out. She can control blood for God's sake. Yeah, so sending the Gen V group just away from the fight didn't make sense at all. And then we see dumb Sage going and talking to Kimiko, like basically trying to make her rage. And it worked, but then I don't know, I guess she wanted to lose her powers and she went in front of her and just tried to rage bait her basically and get that beam out. And they tested it, it worked. And pretty obvious it was going to work. So, anyways, it worked. And she lost her powers and she was happy about it. And in the next scene, we see the boys planning, and Sister Sage just says bye and walks off. Like, Sister Sage was one of the most useless characters in the whole show. She is not smart, she was far away from it. And then we get Ashley's redemption. So Ashley actually helped the boys out. Without her, honestly, they would have died. They would have 100% died. So she helped them out. That's good. And then comes the deep, the peak, right? He still thinks there's a chance for him to redeem himself. Like, oh, he's so dumb and delusional. Starlight just flies him away, right? And flies him to a beach. Okay, now I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this. So Starlight does not know that the deep has beef with the whole ocean, like all the animals in the ocean, like all the fishes and everything. She does not know that. And what does she do? She pushes him into the ocean where he is known to be his most powerful self, right? That was stupid. What if what if Deep didn't have any problems with the ocean? He would have been overpowered in front of Starlight. He would have defeated her in a second. Water is his thing. Like, but okay, fine. Let's just forget that she is stupid. She always has been stupid. So okay, let's just agree that she just pushed him off. And Deep's death. It's kind of poetic. I like that. In the beginning, I used to think that all these fishes are so nice to him, right? And they have been. They have been nice to him. And in the end, they realized how bad he is and they were totally against him. And he got. Okay, I won't say it. So basically, the octopus took his tentacle, put it through his asshole, all the way to his mouth. Oh, that's a horrible way to go. But deserved nonetheless. That was nice. The way he went out was nice. I liked it. O Father's death was very fast. Like I didn't expect him to go out so fast. And it reminded me of someone else's death. I'm not sure if you caught that, but it's exactly like Black Bolt. O Father died because his mouth was closed off and he used his screaming power basically. And the same thing happened to Black Bolt, right? Like his mouth was closed and he tried to scream and he died. same way. And then comes the main fight between Homelander, Butcher, and Kimiko, which does not make sense. Why? Let me tell you. In a previous scene, we saw that Homelander took this billionaire and just flew him to space in like less than a second, right? And he's back. But then, in the next scene where he's fighting these guys, he's not able to fly away. That doesn't make sense, man. He's flying in slow motion. What's happening? He could have easily escaped multiple times, but no. He could have just lasered the tentacles that Butcher was popping out of him and just flown away. It's not that hard. And then there was a point where they started losing, right? That's when Ryan showed up. But then there's this scene where they were trying to hold him down, right? But then there were stronger people before who did the same thing, but he just flew away. He escaped that and flew away. But he wasn't he able to do that this time? That doesn't make sense because these people are clearly stronger. They have Soldier Boy as well, and he was holding him down. He wasn't able to fly away, and this Homelander is supposed to be stronger because he took V1, the original formula, and he's not stronger. He's weaker. What? Why? How does that make sense? Okay, let's just assume they were able to hold him down. Yeah, fine. Okay, they held him down, and Kimiko used her blast to remove their powers. Right? It was aimed at only Homelander, but then unfortunately she doesn't know how to use her powers, so made sense that she hit Butcher and Ryan at the same time. Okay, but then let's just pause here for a minute. I have a theory that Ryan still has his powers because he does not have any kind of chemical inside him, right? He is naturally born. So technically, he should not lose his powers. I don't know. That made sense to me. Like, he should retain his powers. That makes a lot of sense. And then comes the hand to hand combat. I had this video planned out where I would explain all this, basically telling what was going to happen, and it exactly played out in the same way. Like, Kimiko would blast both of them, right? I didn't think about Ryan, but then Kimiko would blast Homelander and Butcher, and they would lose their powers. And in hand to hand combat, Butcher wins any single day because Butcher has always used hand to hand combat, whereas Homelander would just fly away and start lasering people. That is what he usually does, right? He has no military training, no training whatsoever, so he obviously loses. Butcher obviously wins, and that is what we saw. And the pathetic way that Homelander begged, I felt embarrassed. I felt embarrassed listening to that. Okay, before we move on, I want you to watch these two videos. This is exactly what Adrian told would happen if Homelander didn't have his powers, right? Let me show you.
Take away these powers. And what are you, huh? Pathetic. Weak. Sniveling loser.
So he does use the crowbar and basically pop his head out, right? That is exactly what happened in the comics. And we find out that Terror dies. I'm guessing because of old age, or was it because of the chocolate that he ate in the previous episode? I don't know. It could be either. It could be chocolate or old age, or it could be both. You know, he was too old and he ate the chocolate, and that didn't work. And then Butcher decides to go to Watt Tower and use the virus. It makes sense because Butcher ultimately wanted to get rid of all the soups, right? He told that in the beginning itself, and Huey caught on to that. Butcher actually didn't know what to do. Like he said, right? He said that I don't know what to do because all his life, at least the remaining of his life, he was behind Homelander. And once he killed Homelander, he didn't know what to do. But then he remembered that he was supposed to kill all the soups. And then he was going for it. But deep within, he didn't want to do that. He wanted Huey to stop him. And that did happen. And that is also exactly what happened in the comics. Huey ended up killing Butcher because Butcher was nuts. Butcher was going crazy. We got a subtle version of that. He wasn't completely psychotic here, but then he wanted to kill all the soups, which included Kimiko and Annie as well. And we have a funeral for Butcher, and we see everybody go their own ways, right? This Kimiko goes to France to eat stuff, and we see that Starlight is pregnant. I thought Soups couldn't get pregnant. I don't know. Did I miss something? I I don't know. She got pregnant, and we have Butcher who's dead. We have MM who's now getting married, and he's taking care of Ryan, Homelander's son. And MM was always against Soldier Boy because Soldier Boy killed his family, and now he's taking care of his grandson. So here's my final review. Right, I thought the episode was fine. It was good, but then it was rushed. Something felt incomplete. It was as though they had to finish it in the last minute. It's like you're writing your exam peacefully, and then you realize that you have only like 2 minutes left to complete all the remaining questions, like right filling all the remaining answers, and so you just hurry everything up. That is how this felt. It had to be divided. There had to be more in these scenes, right? But then I don't know, probably it was because of the budget they couldn't do a lot of stuff. I thought there would be a lot of chaos, there would be a lot of killing, there would be a lot of breaking of buildings and things like that. One thing I don't like about this is that in the posters they showed it all wrong. They showed as if Butcher is standing in front of the White House and there's soups flying all around, like in front of him. Right? I don't like that poster. It was indicating at something else, like we were going to have a huge finale, but that didn't happen. So if you're not going to play out how the poster is going to be, then don't put those posters. It's just misleading. Other than that, I liked the finale. It was good. They stuck to what was supposed to happen, and everything happened properly. But then there were a lot of scenes in this season that were not necessary, which I've mentioned in the other videos as well. But then overall, it was a rushed finale, but it was a good finale. Something felt missing, some things were left incomplete, but then overall, it was a good finale. It feels like there's a void now because I've been watching The Boys for 7 years. It's over. That's it. Feels weird. Anyways, see you guys in the next one.